What is up, guys? Welcome to the Haunting of Mid-Level. I am your host, the Mid-Level Critic Ken, and we are back today for Chapter 2 of my new YouTube series called The Haunting of Mid-Level, which I'm going to put up every week, Thursdays at 3 o'clock, and we're just going to have casual discussions about the thing that we all love, which is horror. Just the late-breaking news in the world of horror, any horror movies that I might have watched recently that I want to review for you guys, Q&As, you all submit me questions, I answered, and I just want to say, guys, I had such a great response from last week's episode. I didn't get tons of views or anything, but the people that watched truly engaged with the show, and that made me very happy. So I'm happy to continue to do this and hopefully grow this show, to grow this channel, and really just build a community around this show. It's what I like doing. It's a thing that I want to kind of move into doing. I have this. I have the Physical Media Report, which is on Mondays at 3 o'clock. And these are the kind of things that I want to do going forward. And hopefully at some point I'm going to get to where I'm live streaming this, to where I can actually have live interactions with you all as we go. But for now, I'm going to do the kind of Q&A thing where you all submit me questions, and then we talk about it, and it can kind of feel like we're interacting in that way. So first off, I just want to go ahead and show you all this new t-shirt I picked up this week. Isn't that cool? Got a Halloween H2O t-shirt from Cavity Colors, and I don't know if you guys follow those guys on Instagram, but they have a great products, great t-shirts, great artwork. I really wanted the original Halloween shirt, but this was the only Halloween based shirt that they had in my size, so I'm like, what the heck, Halloween H2O isn't that bad. So I went ahead and got it, and now I'm wearing it, and it actually looks pretty cool. I actually like the look of Michael Myers on it and the artwork, and yeah, so it's a cool t-shirt. I wanted to get a horror themed t-shirt to wear on the show. Probably going to try to get a few more as the weeks progress, just so I can look more legit. So I'm going to start things off, guys, because my Q&A questions that I got in kind of rolls into the news stories that I've got. So I'm going to start with my Q&A. I might break things up in the middle and move to my, I got a couple collectibles this week that I want to talk about, some things that I picked up that are horror related that I want to discuss. And then we'll go back to the Q&A, and this will probably be a primarily Q&A focused show, because one of the questions I got in is actually going to be a topic I can get quite a bit of discussion in on. So the first question that I got was from Elliot at Movie Files. And if you're not following him, guys, he's on Instagram, he's on YouTube. He does great work in TV and film reviews. The guy reviews everything. So definitely check him out if you want to know what's going on in the world of Netflix and new release movies and TV shows and all that stuff. So he asked me, and this is going to be kind of my top story for the episode, what are my thoughts on the Hellraiser being made into an HBO series? So, the news of this broke, I think, Monday, and it came out that Hellraiser is going to be made into an HBO series, an HBO TV series, which at first I'm kind of like, when I hear the word Hellraiser now, it kind of brings this kind of negativity, because as you all can tell from the back, I got all my Hellraiser DVDs and VHSs up. Hellraiser kind of brings a certain negativity nowadays when you talk about it, because while the first two films are excellent in my opinion, those are like not quite masterpiece horror, but just really good, great horror movies. It could be argued that they haven't made a good movie since that sequel, and some people don't even like the sequel, they only like the first one. So yeah, at first glance it's kind of like, oh, another thing, Hellraiser. I don't know if this is going to be any good, but it's HBO, and that's the thing that's intriguing about it, is HBO doesn't invest their time into something that they can't make into something that's at least prestigious and something that's credible to watch. Like, they're not going to put a schlocky show on HBO if it's not worth their time. They're not going to release a show that's like the 9th installment straight to DVD of the Hellraiser series. So that's kind of intriguing. And then you throw in the fact that this series is going to be directed by, or at least the pilot episode, and I think it's said that he's going to direct some of the subsequent episodes as well, but it's directed by David Gordon Green. And, he did the Halloween reboot, and that movie, I like that movie a lot, and I think that it's one of the better reboot / sequels that they've done in a franchise recently.
It's not perfect, and I've definitely had problems with it as I've kind of went along. When I first saw it in theaters, I loved it, and then as the rewatches when it came out on Blu-ray, I didn't like it as much. But sorry, I'm gonna log into my computer here so I can get some more information for you guys. But you know that it's intriguing, and I definitely think he has proven himself in the horror world by doing the Halloween 2018, and he's got Halloween Kills coming out hopefully this October, and Halloween Ends next October, and then he's going to be doing this Hellraiser series. So I have no problems with David Gordon Green being in this world, and I trust him, and I have faith in what he can do. My problems, and I don't know if these are really problems, but they come with the writers. But you have Mark Vahiden and Michael Dowry. I can't pronounce his name for some reason. I know who it is. He's the guy that he directed Trick or Treat. He directed Krampus. He directed Godzilla King of Monsters. So, and I think he wrote all of those as well. And he also wrote X2, X United. But those two, and Mark Vahiden, he is the creator of Swamp Thing, which was the failed TV show that came out last year. And not because it was bad. I actually heard it was pretty good. But he also did some Battlestar Galactica, wrote episodes for that. The Netflix series Daredevil. Interesting enough, he also, he's not credited as the writer of it, but he's credited as the story by. And he did The Mask with Jim Carrey back in 1994, and he also did Time Cop with Jean-Claude Van Damme. So he's got a very interesting resume, none of which really lends itself to horror. So I'm not, except for maybe Swamp Thing, but I'm not entirely sold on him. I don't know why. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but Trick or Treat is an awesome movie. I love Trick or Treat. It's one of the best horror anthologies that's come out in the past 20 years. Like it's an incredible movie. It's a movie I didn't always love, but I kind of grew to love as time went on. And Krampus, I don't like that movie. I don't like that movie at all. I don't know what it is. Maybe I need to watch it again, but it didn't hit me very right the first time I watched it. And then you got Godzilla King of Monsters. I didn't like that either. So very spotty, very hit or miss with the writing. So I'm not exactly sure if I'm completely sold on that. And then you got Danny McBride, which is going to be in there to produce. I don't know if he's going to be any kind of acting capacity, writing, helping with that, or any of that, because he did kind of help co-wrote Halloween 2018 with David Gordon Green. So the creation of the series, I'm kind of hit or miss on. But then, just as far as them bringing the Hellraiser series back, or the franchise back, I don't know. Let me read you all this, and we'll see what you guys think. But right here, it has a passage in the Deadline article that is describing what their vision for this series is. It is by no means a remake, but rather assumes the past mythology to be a given. Expect a revisit from Pinhead, the merciless leader of the Cenobites, the formerly humans turned demons that live in an extra-dimensional realm and are activated through a puzzle box called the Lamech Configuration. The Cenobites come from hell to harvest human souls and keep balance between good and evil. So basically what they're saying... Sorry, I gotta get a drink. Basically what they're saying is that this is going to be more or less kind of like the Halloween reboot, where they're just continuing on with the story. It's not going to be like a remake of what happened in the first film and the second film, but it's going to be more like a kind of continuation, like a requel, a sequel of sorts. Which I don't hate that idea. I think if you're going to do it, that's probably the best way to go about it. What's intriguing to me is, and I saw this a lot online, and that's the idea that nobody else can play Pinhead other than Doug Jones. And while I think it's going to be super hard to replace Doug Jones as Pinhead, he was brilliant in that role. It was a phenomenal character. I think that with HBO involved and just the creative team involved, I think that they could probably find a suitable Pinhead, somebody to kind of match that feel and that tone of a Doug Jones. But yeah, I don't want anybody else to play Pinhead either, really, but I think they could find somebody to do it. It's not like this is HBO. It's not like the last one they did, which I think was called Deader or something, where Pinhead he looked like he was wearing a rubber mask. I'm like, how do we get to the point where back in the 80s we had all this really cool prosthetic makeup and all of that, and it looked great. It looked phenomenal. Like it looks good on Blu-ray even. To where this looks like somebody's putting a rubber mask on their face. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, the Hellraiser sequels are terrible. Every one of them except for the second one. I like parts of 3. Parts of 3 is fine. Bloodline's terrible, and Inferno's terrible. Hellseeker's terrible. Hellworld, which I actually have right behind me, is terrible. And I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of them in forever, but they were all just so painfully boring and just uneventful. And it was always the same thing. Like Pinhead would show up in the last 5 minutes, and he wouldn't even hardly be in any of the movies. So, and that's another thing I kind of want to bring up about this is Pinhead has never been the biggest part of the movies. It's always been another story, and he kind of shows up in the final act most of the time. So I think if they're going to go with a series, like I don't think that he's going to be in it. Like he's not going to be the star of it. There's going to be other people. There's going to be other situations and events involved. And one of the things that I find interesting, in particular with HBO doing this, is they do a lot of epic shows. And what I think that Hellraiser could actually lend itself beyond horror to being a more epic type fantasy show, because if you remember in the sequel in Hellbound Hellraiser 2, they go into hell, and it is a very interesting design, and you have all these monsters, these hellish monsters. So if they made a series where maybe they went to hell for one of the seasons, and like just the production design and the production value that you can incorporate in that with HBO backing you, I think they could make some really cool stuff in this universe that's just beyond the stuff in the real world. Because I think we can all agree that that's the major thing that was holding all the sequels back. All that real world drama with the people, and there's like detectives and just storylines that didn't make sense. Get rid of all that. Take us to hell. Get us really in there with the Cenobite mythology and the history of the box and all that stuff. And I think that could be really cool. But yeah, I mean, just to answer your question, Movie Files, I think I've gone on for about 12 minutes now. Like, that's pretty much my thoughts on it. And like I said, I'm a massive fan of the first 2 films. I love the first 2 Hellraiser films. I almost love them equally. I know some people say that the first Hellraiser is up here and the sequel is like there, and then all the other sequels are down here. In my opinion, they're about on par, and at one point I even like the second one better. I like how creative it is and how it goes into the other world. But yeah, that is pretty much my thought, guys, on the new Hellraiser series. So I'm optimistic. I'm kind of skeptical of the writing team that's involved, but I trust that David Gordon Green, with the work he did on Halloween, he can bring something that's kind of elevated above what you would expect out of this franchise at this point. So let's move on to the next question, and this is actually a pretty cool one to get into, and this is from jcart98292, and he hasn't submitted a question yet to the show, so welcome to the show, jcart. And he asked, which is your favorite slasher related sequel? Which is an interesting question that made my mind go in multiple different directions. But I think when I'm answering this, I tried to think of sequels to slasher movies that didn't surpass their original, because in most franchises, the original is usually the best. But I tried to think of movies that maybe were on par or almost as good as the first one. And the one that stuck out to me was Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. That movie is damn near as good as the first one. Freddy is as terrifying, if not maybe a little more than he was in the first one, because he's still dark and twisted in Part 3, but he's making more of those jokes, those lighthearted jokes that don't hit completely as jokes because they are still very sinister. But I love Dream Warriors. It's a very interesting concept that brings in a lot of cool kind of mythology into the Nightmare universe, with the kids getting powers and It kind of plays more like an X-Men version of Nightmare on Elm Street. And it's a really cool movie. It's a really cool idea. I would love to see that maybe expanded upon in a series as well. You know, if HBO's throwing money at old horror franchises, maybe bring back Nightmare on Elm Street and go into that mythology of the Dream Warriors. I think that could be really cool. But yeah, guys, it's definitely Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 Dream Warriors. That's probably my favorite slasher sequel. So the next question I got is from Shane.movies, and he submitted a question last week. And he asks, what do you think of horror movie based off the Five Nights at Freddy's video game? So, I'm not really familiar. I am familiar with Five Nights at Freddy's. I remember when my son was really little. He was like 2 or 3. He was first getting into YouTube. Like, he would watch some Five Nights at Freddy's videos sometimes. So I would see it. And it's definitely interesting. It was definitely kind of scary. So the idea is like a demonic Chuck E. Cheese kind of, right? So I think that could be pretty cool. Like I said, I don't know the Five Nights at Freddy's games that well. I've never played them, but that concept of a nightmarish Chuck E. Cheese where the animatronic figures kind of come alive at night, that could be pretty cool. So I'd be down with watching a Five Nights at Freddy's movie if they kind of put some production value behind it and it wasn't just straight to DVD crap. Yeah, I would be down with watching it for sure. So thank you for your question, Shane.movies. And before I move on to the next couple questions that I have, I wanted to go ahead and get into some of these horror-based things that I bought this week. So they're pretty cool. So I went ahead and bought Stephen King's new book, If It Bleeds, and I thought maybe it would be cool if it would kind of motivate me to read a little bit. Maybe it might be cool if I read this book and kind of reviewed it on the show. I don't know. And the cool thing about this book is it is kind of an anthology book. It's got more like short novellas in it. So it's basically split into 4 stories. So maybe I could cover one story one week, one story the next. And yeah, I haven't read a Stephen King book in a while. I tried to read Pet Sematary last year and I fell off. I'm not very good at reading. I used to be an avid reader. I read all the time. I've read tons of Stephen King books back when I was very small. I read them like when I was 10, 11, 12. And I read in my teenage years and early 20s. But for some reason, I don't have the attention span anymore. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older and I can't think like I used to. But it's like I sit down to read a book and then my mind just starts wandering and I can't concentrate. But I'm going to try to get into a quiet location, just sit with this book and get it read so I can maybe talk about it with you guys. So I believe it released this week. So, I mean, it's called If It Bleeds. And yeah, it's a really cool cover. I like this cover on it a lot. Going into book reviews here. Yeah, so that's cool. The next thing I got when I about fell over when I saw this in Target because I had never seen it before. And I was like, oh my God, I got to buy it. And it's a Shining board game. So, like, how cool is that? That is so awesome. And I was thinking about maybe doing an unboxing on my channel of this. Maybe I could do it on this show. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, I don't even know if I want to open this. If it's going to be like a collector's item I can put on my shelf back there. But, yeah, I mean, how cool is that? Like, what a Shining video or board game. Like, I would love a Shining video game, too. But a Shining board game, like, what is that? What does that look like? That's crazy. So yeah, those are the 2 things I picked up this week. Also, I grabbed, I'm not even going to try to reach for it, but I grabbed Guns Akimbo, which is kind of, I don't know if that's horror, but it's more like horror action comedy. I don't know. I really don't know what that movie is, but I'm going to watch it at some point. I'm going to review it on here. But let's see, guys. I didn't watch any new horror movies this week. I've been kind of slacking on my movies, but next week I'll definitely have a couple to talk about on here. So let's go ahead and move into the next question, which kind of goes into that a little bit. But this question is from M. Lagault17, and he asks, "Have you seen The Lodge, and what are your thoughts?" So first off, thank you for your question. And second, no, I have not seen The Lodge, but the movie does come out, and I'll probably be covering this Monday on the Physical Media Report. The movie does come out on Blu-ray this Tuesday, May the 5th. So when that movie comes out, I'm going to try to see if I can pick it up somewhere to watch it. But I'm definitely going to be watching The Lodge next week. And I'm probably going to be doing a little review for it. Definitely on my Instagram page. But I'm probably going to be doing a little review for it on this show next week. So you can look forward to that. And I will be giving my full thoughts on The Lodge then. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I won't be able to really answer your question until next week. But, yeah, hopefully that was good enough for now. So, and the last question that I received is from Campo.reviews, and he asks, Jason Takes Manhattan versus Jason Goes to Hell. And this is going to be a fun one, guys, because I have a very controversial opinion when it comes to this. And I'm assuming because he asked this kind of question last week when he asked me which is better, Curse of Michael Myers or Halloween H2O, or not Halloween H2O, but Halloween Resurrection. I was assuming he was grabbing what he considered to be the worst two in the franchise and making me pick which one I would want to watch more. And what he doesn't realize with this one is one of these movies I actually legitimately love. And not only that, but I actually hold it up to my second favorite in the Friday the 13th franchise. And that movie is Jason Goes to Hell. I love Jason Goes to Hell. That's probably the Jason movie that I rewatched the most as a kid. Like, I loved the first three. I watched them all the time. But Jason Goes to Hell, there was just something about it. Like, I love the premise. I love the idea of, like, the essence of Jason, like, jumping into different bodies. And it was like a little creature that went around and just the body jumping. And it felt like the Body Snatchers at a certain point. And the kill count in that movie is insanely high. He kills somewhere like 25, 26 people. And yeah, I just think it's so cool. And in the end, like, spoiler alert, when the demon flies out of him, or they kill him, or they kill one of the people, and then the demon pops out of the head, and it jumps in the basement, and it flies up what was the storyline in it? Like, she was the niece of Jason Voorhees or something, the mom, and it crawls up in her, and then Jason just jumps out of the floorboards, like, and he's finally back. To me, that was like a big payoff to that movie, and it made all the stuff before it just mean that much more. But yeah, I love Jason Goes to Hell, and it has one of the best kill scenes in the entire franchise, in my opinion, in the tent where he puts the pole in there and rips that girl in half. Like, that's an incredible kill right there that I love. So, and it, Jason Goes to Hell, I don't hate Jason Goes to Hell, but it's not a good movie at all. And I can recognize that. It's a boat ride for most of the movies. They kind of cheated you out of the premise of the film. Like, if you were to go into a video store and look at Jason Goes to Hell, or not Jason Goes to, but Jason Takes Manhattan, you'd be like, oh, this is Jason in Manhattan for the whole movie and killing a bunch of people in New York, and it's going to be awesome. And then he's on a boat for the first hour and 15 minutes, and last 15 minutes he's in Manhattan. And the stuff in Manhattan is cool. It also has a great kill in it where he punches the guy and the boxer guy, and his head flies off and goes into the trash can. That's a great kill. Or when he's walking down the street and the people yell at him and he turns around and lifts the mask up and then they all run away. Like, that's a great moment too. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate Jason Takes Manhattan, but definitely with these two, I'm picking Jason Goes to Hell all day long. So I think that movie's great. But that's kind of it this week for the Haunting of Mid-Level show, guys. And I hope you enjoyed the episode. It's going to be a little bit shorter than last week, but hopefully next week I come back strong with some hard-hitting topics and some reviews for you guys. Some more collectibles to show off. But I just want to thank you all for joining. And again, like, this response for the show has been incredible, and I hope it continues to build. So go ahead, and if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Please like this video. It will help it out tremendously. Comment down below your thoughts on the episode. Like, what would you like to see? What other segments would you like to see me introduce? I'm open for anything. Just let me know, and I'll definitely be putting up another question thing in my stories next week to take more questions from you guys, because that's really fun. I like doing that kind of stuff. So subscribe to my channel, guys. Like this video, comment down below, and we'll see you next time.